Good morning. I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to our Commissioners Board meeting for March the 7th. We're broadcasting live via Microsoft Teams live event. We're also on BCTV, as well as YouTube and Facebook Live. At this time, we'll begin with a moment of silence followed by a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'll recognize my executive assistant, Anne Marie Grill, to read the public comment policy.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used, Teams Q&A, Facebook, and YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Thank you very much, Anne Marie. March is recognized as Intellectual Development Disability Awareness Month. Mental health is a major issue, not just in Berks County, but virtually every county across the country. We are blessed to have Pam Seaman, who is our administrator of mental health and developmental disabilities. And she's here with us this morning, and I'm going to ask her to come forward. We are going to recognize officially March as Intellectual and Developmental Disability Awareness Month. So, Pam. There.
Good morning, commissioners, and thank you for having me here today. Yes, we're happy to acknowledge March as Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Just a little bit of information about our program in Citizens in Berks County. We support about 1,500 individuals with developmental disability and/or autism diagnoses through our programs. We have about 118 provider organizations, and we're going to actually recognize Paul Stengel, CEO from ARC Alliance, as one of those provider organizations. He's one of 8 organizations that provide supports coordination services, or what we call case management. One of the amazing things, I've worked in this field a long time and have seen a lot of change over time, and a lot of good change. Many years ago, individuals with intellectual disability, we really focused on what their disabilities were as opposed to what their abilities are. And we've come to appreciate that and recognize that, and offer a lot of unique and diverse services for individuals now, and really do acknowledge their diversity. We also have lots of community-based systems that we didn't have years ago. There were very few options, but now the focus really is on supporting people in the community and working with those individuals and families to help them recognize and live the life that they want to lead. So with that said, I guess we want to do the acknowledgement for Paul, if you'd like to come up. You don't want to read anything, or?
I guess I can read some of this. We want to recognize Paul. Paul and the ARC Alliance have been a partner with MHDD for many, many years, longer than I've been here. And when we look at areas, and this particular case, mental health, it's not something that Pam and her staff can just simply do. It is through partners like the ARC Alliance that we're able to address these types of critical issues. So let me go ahead and read. Whereas between 1% and 3% of the population has an intellectual and/or developmental disability cutting across the lines of racial, ethnic, educational, social, and economic backgrounds. And whereas an intellectual and/or developmental disability is defined as a disability characterized by significant limitations in areas such as intellectual functioning and in adaptive behavior as expressed in conceptual, social, and practical adaptive skills which originate before age 22. And whereas people with intellectual and/or developmental disabilities are valued members of society, are friends, neighbors, co-workers who find fulfillment living everyday lives, and whereas education, services, and supports continue to be vital to enabling citizens with intellectual and/or developmental disabilities find greater opportunities to develop relationships, pursue their dreams, be integrated into their community, and contribute in a meaningful way in their community. Therefore, in order to recognize the many contributions and challenges of citizens with intellectual and/or developmental disabilities, we, the Commissioners of Berks County in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, do hereby recognize March 2024 as Intellectual and Developmental Disability Awareness Month. Before I give this to Paul, and I didn't plan this, the beginning of this week, I got a letter from a 19-year-old young man. I'm not going to share his name. He, in the letter, shared that he is an adult with autism and a high-functioning adult. And he had, it was listed as 4 questions for me, but when you looked at them, each question had a question within the question. And I yesterday actually finished writing a letter back to this young man, and we don't realize there are people all around us that are dealing with challenges, and groups like the ARC Alliance and departments like Pam and your deputy Michelle Rwana Weber and your team are serving those people in our community. And here's the most important thing here is people dealing with these challenges are all around us, and they're every part. I've met people, family members, friends, and others that are dealing with these challenges, and they can be a valuable part of our community. And because of ARC and because of your work, we're able to do that. So, Paul, on behalf of the commissioners, will present this to you and to MHDD. Let's stick here for a picture. Jonathan Heinzman to get this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Santoni or Rivera, any comments? Okay. Same thing?
No, I just want to, the only thing I would add is just to thank you for your service, your advocacy, and the great things you do for that community here in Berks County. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure. Yes, you may.
We work in 7 counties, and we have responsibility right now for, as an ARC for Montgomery, Berks, and Bucks. And I can tell you, I like working best in this county, and I hope my other county chairmen are listening. So thank you for doing a great job, commissioners, and hiring great staff. I really appreciate what you do for people with IDD.
Thank you. Thank you. We're pleased to have another presentation this morning. We try at least twice a year, sometimes quarterly, and I think this is one of our first quarter presentation from the Reading Area Community College. And this morning, I want to recognize that we do have Dr. Susan Looney, president of RAC, with us. But our presenter is Terry Melcher, and Terry is the Vice President of Workforce Development and Continuing Education. And Terry, we're glad to have you with the presentation this morning.
Good morning, thank you. So a lot of people here are probably, this is going ahead too fast, are familiar with RAC, of course, and the Schmidt Training and Technology Center. But I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what we do there and how we do it, which is much more important, actually. So we, for the past 20 years, have been working with the region's manufacturers and other industry partners on lots of different technical skills like mechatronics. We have an award-winning machining lab, electrical, PLC, robotics, as well as information technology certifications that we do there as well. All of our instructors come from industry. They have over 100 years of experience between the 5 of them. 88% of our students that come through the Schmidt Training and Technology Center are incumbent workers. So their employers are paying for them to be skilled up by our instructors. The most important thing that we do have, though, is a business-to-business model. So you may have seen what we look like at other CTCs, career technical centers, as well as other community colleges. However, that's not how we deliver. So we deliver our product, our training to market by what the manufacturer needs. And what that means is that those manufacturers are working on shifts. We do customized training. We have flexible hours. 50% of the training is done online. 50% is experiential hands-on. In the past year, we've invested about $400,000 in new and updated equipment, including some new programs that are coming out on our coordinate measuring machine, as well as 2 new universal robots. The other side of what we do is what I like to call business critical skills training. Some people refer to it as soft skills. And through this, we do almost all of our training on site at the manufacturer or the industry partner at a convenient time for them, and we customize the course. In the past year, we've added 6 new programs to meet and address the current demand that we have received from our partners. For example, our ESL training, English Second Language training, has grown significantly this past year. We've trained in many companies in not only Berks, but Schuylkill, Lebanon, Lancaster, and other counties as well. Some of the companies that we've taught is Tower Health, as well as Reading Truck. We also have a new Wellness in the Workplace curriculum program, and it provides training in respectful workplace and other stress management curriculum that the HR people are telling us is very important right now. We also oversee the continuing education literacy programs. And our team there's 2 sections. So there's the continuing ed, which is the workforce development, including GED, which is now called ABE, and ESL training. So last year we trained in both of these different programs over 930 people. We have 3 full-time, 10 part-time instructors. And we're also just been recognized by the Department of Education. They announced in November that they would be giving us some excess state adult education funds. And that award was given to us for basically performing above and beyond. So they gave us an additional almost $40,000 in one-time funds based on our program performance. We do some specialized training that you may be interested in hearing about, because it's sort of just different classes that no one else is holding For example, our pilot medical records and billing training is currently being held at Tech Centro in Berks. We have 9 people going through that training. That's just about completed. Our online auctioneering program was featured in the May edition of Investopedia as one of the best auctioneering courses in the country, as the best hands-on course in 2024. So they receive a auction board approved credits. It's a non-credit course, of course. We're also training CRS, Certified Recovery Specialists, and that's happening right now, actually, at Karen Treatment Centers and Gatehouse in Lancaster. Some other certifications that we do give is Lean Six Sigma. This is really important as far as continuous improvement, especially now that the labor market is so tight. Companies are looking to improving their processes, and not only for their product, but also for their quality and for safety as well. We do this customized on site, and we solve real problems in real time. So the ROI is immediate to the company. And we've helped companies, for example, SFS right here in Berks, UASA, and EthoSource have also come to us for their Lean Six Sigma. Some other certification projects that we have is Certified Project Management. This is a real hot topic now. If you go on Indeed or any of the job board sites, this is one of the top job postings that you'll see right now is project management. We're the only authorized training partner of Project Management Institute. It's a global organization, and we're the only ones within, I think, a 500-mile radius that have this approved licensed course content. We have an accredited trainer, and we've graduated 2 classes through this program right now. Another one that you might be interested is we have certifications in wastewater treatment plant operator. And this is becoming more and more important as a lot of those operators are aging out, they're retiring, they're moving on. And a lot of the systems, they're finding they need these certified operators in order to operate the plant, effectively and efficiently. So we have a 180-hour certified program, and it's designed to prepare the students for the DEP licensing training. We are using the DEP-approved curriculum. We're also an approved training site, exam site for DEP. We also work with various wastewater facilities, including the city of Reading, and we actually do some training out there. We're very happy and very pleased with that partnership. We also are presenting and have become part of Berks County Water and Sewer Association, so we're working very closely with them. All this training takes some funds, and we are happy not only to be a designated partner of WEDNET. WEDNET stands for the Workforce and Economic Development Network of Pennsylvania, but we're also a training partner as well. So we disseminate the funds. Right now, we've given out $260,000 in training funds to 18 companies in Berks County. We've also just requested an additional $150,000, and that's for demand. So the demand for training, particularly in Berks, is very high right now. And we're very happy to not only be a state partner, but also be able to help the manufacturers and other industry partners with their training needs. Another bucket of money that we work with is through the Workforce Development Board, and they allocate incumbent worker funds, which is typically about 50 to 75% reimbursement on some very specific priority programs. 2 that we are eligible for delivering is Lean, Green, and Black Belt, and also mechatronics. And that's it. Thank you for your time this morning. I just wanted to give you a little different view of what we do at Schmidt. We've got an awesome team over there. We are really excited about this year. We've introduced a lot of new programs, and we're working with lots of new companies, not only in Berks, but beyond.
Terry, thank you very much. Don't know if my colleague, Commissioner Rivera, is going to say something at the end. I am going to talk a little bit further about RAC and some initiatives that are occurring at the Commonwealth level. But last week, Governor Shapiro came in and did a tour of the facility. I was glad to be able to be part of that tour because it really demonstrated the unique role that community colleges fill. And it is not to be critical of traditional higher eds, but higher eds are different. They are not designed to respond and react to local business needs. And the Schmidt Technology Center is absolutely incredible. And the health care training as well. We went through a number, but I just wanted to highlight one experience. One of your trainers, and I believe he was in the electrical, Travis. So we came in, the governor spoke to each of the leaders in their particular area. Travis was unique and very willing to share about his work. But what stood out to me is Travis is a product of RAC and beyond. And he shared that when he came out of school, he didn't have a lot of options on the table. And he went to RAC and he got his certification. And he shared that he graduated on a Friday and had a job at Carpenter on Monday. He worked at Carpenter for several years. Then he got a job at Sam Adams up in the Lehigh Valley, and then heard about an opening for an instructor position at RAC and came back. And he shared with the governor that within his first year at Carpenter, he was making more money than his mother and father combined when he grew up, without a college degree, but with a certification that he was able to receive at RAC. He shared how he is already saving money for his children, and his wife, he pointed out, was going through the nursing RN program, Amanda, and we actually met Amanda. Now, I do have to credit the governor for courage. He said to Travis, "I've got one problem with you, and it's that lanyard around your neck." He was wearing a Dallas Cowboys lanyard. And the governor asked if anybody else in the room had a problem with that. There were several students that had a problem with that. And Travis, to his credit, said, "I'm not taking it off. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan." But it was great to see the real life experience. And that's the real world. One of the things that I continue to talk about, we need to change the discussion when it comes to education. I grew up in an era where I was told if you don't go to college, you don't have a future. We've changed that discussion, but we still are measuring the old way. And what's the discussion? The discussion should not be about college. It should be about careers. And then determine, what do you need to get to that career? Maybe it's a certificate. Maybe it's an apprenticeship. Maybe it's 4 years college. Maybe it's a master's degree. Maybe it's a PhD. But the focus should be on careers. Unfortunately, in Pennsylvania, we still measure high schools by graduation. I agree with that, absolutely. But then by who goes on to college and who graduates from college. I'm not being critical of people who go to college and graduate from college, but it shouldn't be about college. It should be about careers. And RAC is all about careers. If you look at the percentage of RAC students that go on and graduate from college, you know the number roughly? It's low. I saw a national number recently of 16%. That shouldn't surprise anyone. There are people that come to RAC for one course. There are people that come to RAC to learn to be an auctioneer. They're not going to go on to college. Does that mean the community college failed? No, it means it did exactly what it was set up to do. I'm so proud of RAC, and I am hopeful and you'll see my comments later, I am hopeful that the governor saw something in RAC that he may not have understood fully or realized takes place in this community. You guys do an amazing job, Dr. Looney, Terry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any comments from my colleagues?
So, Terry, Dr. Looney, thank you for the work you do. I think one of the great things about RAC is that you can meet the needs of the community as they arise. And that's what you do great. You know, I'm not sure if it was Dr. Looney or Terry that was mentioning that you have different manufacturers that come and say, well, you know, this is our need, and you can just quickly turn and provide that need specific to that manufacturer to be able to get the employees there trained for the work that they have to do. So that's a real benefit to our community here, especially when you have manufacturing as one of our major industries here in the county. So you're able to provide that training to have the workers do the job that they need there. The other thing also I'm very happy about is that I'm not sure what the name is called, but is it a Hispanic designated institution? So you have a large population of Hispanics, which represents the community that you serve. So that's really great that you're able to do that because that means that you have staff there that understands the importance of involving the whole community in what you do there. So keep that up. Also, very glad that you have relationships with other organizations like Tech Central, which you say, you know what, we don't need to do everything here at RAC. We don't need to do it all, but we can partner with other organizations to be able to help reach the needs of our community. So very proud of what RAC is able to do here in Reading at Berks County. And I know other places look at RAC as an example as to what other community colleges should be. So thank you.
Thank you.
Just very quickly, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Looney, we do have to talk about admissions policies, but we don't want to allow too many Cowboy fans in. But on a serious note, I just very briefly want to thank the great work that RAC does. I've seen how RAC has grown through the years and provided the great opportunities for many of the people of our county and surrounding counties, as you mentioned. So I just want to thank you for the great work and to keep it up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And I shared all of that with the governor when I had my moment, and basically told him that these manufacturers are relying on us to skill up their workers right now, and they're homegrowing their own. So they're getting people in that are unskilled, and they're skilling them up to what they need, what level they need. And then that's the way that they're using training as a strategic tool, basically to retain, to recruit, and to promote their workers.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much. For those that may not know, Berks County is the sole sponsor of the Reading Area Community College. Community colleges across the Commonwealth have various sponsors. Some cases it's a city, it may be a school district or a combination of a school district. With the Reading Area Community College for the last several decades, the sole sponsor has been the County of Berks. So thank you very much. Are there any additions or corrections for the February 29th meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We did have an executive session on March the 6th dealing with personnel, litigation, and real estate. Are there any public comments on specific agenda items? Not in person, nothing online. We'll move right into the agenda. Item 1, authorizing under that budget department, adopt a resolution authorizing 2023 budget transfers in the amount of $2,385,000, 2023 appropriations in the negative amount of $24, 2024 budget transfers in the amount of $322,142, 2024 appropriations in the amount of $35,790 per listing dated March 1st of 2024. We have 3 items listed under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the Berks County Planning Commission to submit a municipal assistance program application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development as lead agency on behalf of Maiden Creek Township, Richmond Township, and the Borough of Fleetwood for grant funding in the amount of $19,377 for development of a joint municipal comp plan. And item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the Berks County Planning Commission to submit a municipal assistance program application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development as lead agency on behalf of District Township, Rockland Township, and the Borough of Topton for a grant funding in the amount of $17,371 for development of a joint municipal comprehensive plan. We have David Hunter here, as I often do. David, would you like to explain why this is important and some of the rare air that we continue to experience in Berks County when we talk about municipal cooperation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everyone. David Hunter, Executive Director of the Berks County Planning Commission. I'm proud to present my staff and the hard work that they're doing and the joint comp plans in the county. Berks County is #1 in the state as far as joint comp plans go. So these grant applications go a long way to assist the municipalities in the county to update their joint comp plans. DCD has been a partner of ours recently, and we're proud to work with them so that the municipalities rather, can update these plans. I want to mention the PA Land Institute that just occurred this past Saturday. Staff again partnered with CELG, and we had a record number, Mr. Chairman, of communities coming to that meeting. So this grant goes a long way, again, to assist municipalities so they can keep up to date and keep their plans up to date so that they can apply for all types of grants. The grant scoring is based on an update joint comp plan or update comprehensive plan. So if your plan isn't up to date, then DCD does not look at your application approvingly. So thank you for your support. There are more applications coming, and we just appreciate your support of the planning staff.
Thank you very much, David. And we appreciate you and your team, and please pass that on to your team right above us on the 14th floor.
Yes, sir.
Item C, authorize the county solicitor or in their absence, the first assistant county solicitor to execute all statements of work between the County of Berks and Slint LLC for the provision of digital data forensic and cybersecurity services. Item 2, a motion to authorize the execution of contract agreements and amendments and set forth on the contract agenda listing dated March 4th of 2024. There are 4 contracts, one with Children and Youth Services, one with Facilities and Operations, one with Human Resources, and one with Parks and Rec. Item 3, a motion to authorize execution of the payments and electronic transfers for the week ending March 7th of 2024. Item 4, motion to authorize execution of employee payroll disbursements dated March 12th of 2024.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. We'll move to reports of our treasurer and controller. We'll begin with our treasurer, Mitch Darcourt.
Thank you, Mr. Leinbach. Today we have an opening balance of $178,790,137.59. We have a balance to clear of $2,931,622.84. leaving us with a balance of $184,858,514. $0.75. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move now to our County Controller, Joe Ruddero.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the week ending 3/7/2024, we have a total accounts payable of $7,020,240.76.
Thank you very much, Joe. We do not have our Chief Operations Officer here. Both of them are out working on another project. So with that, we will move right to Commissioners' comments, and we'll begin with Commissioner Michael Rivera.
Thank you, Commissioner Linebuck. I have a few items here, and I want to share my screen for the first one. So on March 19th, our Department of Agriculture is celebrating the National Ag Day and America 250. And there's the historic mill lecture and tour, which will be at the Friendship Hook and Ladder Social Club in Boyertown. It's a free event, lunch is included. So go to our website for more information. Under the Ag Department, there's a QR code there you can scan for more information. But the lecture starts at 10:30, lunch is at 1. And then there is a tour of Bob's Mill. There will be busing provided to take you there as well. So a great opportunity to learn more about our agriculture and our history here in Berks County. I'm going to stop sharing now. Also, we just had the proclamation indicating that March is Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. I want to thank Pam and her team for the work that they do. But something that she mentioned that I thought was really important is that they don't focus on disabilities, but rather on abilities. So I think that's important, and that's something we can all do no matter what our situation is. Many times we focus on the nots and the negatives rather than on the positives and the cans. So let's at time change our mindset from the negative to the positive and focus on those things that we can control, focus on those things that are good rather than bad. A lot of times it's all about the mindset and what our focus is on and how we see things in life. This past week, starting on Saturday, all three of us were at the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania Spring Conference. We also had our CEO and Deputy CEO and our Chief Clerk there as well on Monday and on Tuesday participating of the events. But some of the highlights of the conference on Sunday, we started with the CCAP board meeting, of which Commissioner Linebuck and I are part of. That went from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then in the afternoon, we had the CCAP committee meetings, the standing committee meetings. There are 10 committees, and I belong to the Community and Economic Development Committee. And amongst other things there, we spoke about the PA Economic Development Strategy, which is a 10-year plan that the state has put out there. And what should counties be aware of there, and what roles could counties play in that economic development plan? Then on Monday, we had our business meeting in the morning. And at that meeting, among other things, we we elected our delegates to the National Association of Counties. There's 2. And Commissioner Linebuck was again reelected as a delegate to the National Association of Counties. So congratulations on your reelection. That is a testament of the trust that our members have in Commissioner Linebuck and Commissioner Hardwick from Dauphin County to be able to carry the message of Pennsylvania to the National Association. On Monday also, we had a lunch where Governor Shapiro spoke. He spoke to the commissioners that were there that morning. And then in the afternoon, we had the district meetings in which all three of us participated of the District 6 meetings, where we spoke about what are some of the plans, how we can reach out to our state delegation, our General Assembly, to talk about the needs that counties have. On Tuesday morning, we had the Secretary of State, Secretary Al Schmidt, together with Colonel Paris, who is the Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner, and they were talking about election safety and security, indicating that it's something that's very important to them, something that they're taking very seriously. Something that I was glad to hear Secretary Schmidt indicate was that he ran elections for 10 years before becoming the secretary, so he knows what elections departments go through. He knows what boards of elections go through. And one of the things that was brought up was that the many changes or recommendations that the Department of State brings days before the election, and how that brings turmoil to the departments of election throughout the Commonwealth. Something that he said that he was committing to doing was to making no changes or no recommendations prior to no later than 45 days before the election, unless there was a court ruling that necessitated that. But he understood that making those recommendations at the last minute was not the best way to move forward, and he knew the impact that had on the different departments. He also spoke about the shore system and the updates that are going on there. He said that, as you may be aware, that the shore system, the updates were stopped this year, and he said he knows this is not the year to do that. It is something that is a priority for them. They are working on that, but they did not want to implement any changes whatsoever in this year, which is a presidential election. So it's good to have someone in that seat that has the experience that he has and understands what the different departments of elections go through. Let's see what other thing, and those are the notes that I have there. One thing I do want to let Dave make him aware of drew a blank on his name.
Dave Hunter?
Dave Hunter, yeah.
He works for us.
Yeah, I know. Guess the older you get, you have those moments where you draw blanks on names.
The older he gets, he's a lot younger than I am.
So I do want to let Dave know that one of the workshops I want to bring to the CCAP annual conference is around how municipalities can work together better and what counties can do to help improve that. So I want to bring your department there as well as CELG to talk about that. Pam, just to put you also notice, I would like to do also a workshop on what, especially the smaller counties who don't have a director of community economic development, what that should look like for them. Who do they need to bring to the table in reference to community and economic development? So those are some workshops from feedback that I received at this conference that would be good there. And I think we do a great job at that. So I'd like to have Berks County bring those workshops at our annual conference, but more details to follow on that. And those are my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Santoni.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few things, if I may. This is a little dated, but I wasn't here last week, so I want to talk a little bit about an event that I know Commissioner Leinbach was there. Christine and other members of our team were at the Connections Work reentry simulation that occurred in West Lawn, and I know that Commissioner Leinbach talked about it last week, but I just want to put my voice on the great work, first of all, the Connections Work do, and just to highlight the issues that people have when they do come out of prison and the hurdles that they have to try to jump over. If I'm saying something you already said, I apologize, but we were all given a name, circumstances in our life, basically what it's like to come out of prison, and then stations were set up around the area, around that's not a gym, the common area, and you had to go to probation, you had to go try to get a job, and it just showed and you were given limited transportation slips, you were given limited money, and you were sort of thrown out there and shown what it's really like to come out of prison and try to change your life. And one thing that really struck me was what the woman that ran the probation office for the U.S. said about 95% of all people that go into prison are going to come out. And so we have to make sure that they don't go back in, because the recidivism rate is 70%. And that's sad. It's terrible. And we need to do better in getting these people that want to, for the most part, turn their lives around. And then at the end of that presentation, there were 4 people who did that. 3 men and 1 woman that talked about how their lives were changed with the help from Connections Work and other areas. But if you don't have a support staff, it's a real challenge when you come out of prison. So as a society, I think we need to do a little bit better at that. So I thought that was a great great opportunity for people to see what it's really like. And I encourage, if there's any other ones, for the community to be involved. I just want to talk, Commissioner Rivera, President of CCAP, mentioned the highlights of the CCAP conference that we were all just at. I just want to talk a little bit about where I was and what I got out of it, which I thought was terrific. Through the Academy of Excellence workshop, we had a breakout session called County and the Courts. President Judge from Montgomery County, Judge Corluccio, was there along with their court administrator, talked about the relationship between the county commissioners and the courts. Yes, they're separate, but there's a lot of things that we work together on, the challenges and the opportunities there. I thought that was a great breakout session. On Monday, I went to 2 breakout sessions. The one was about large-scale solar opportunities in Pennsylvania. Penn State Extension talked about what large-scale solar, sometimes called utility-scale solar, is in Pennsylvania. They weren't for or against it. They just presented facts about it, the opportunities, the challenges as an alternative energy source. We're talking about climate change. It's something that needs to be part of the discussion. The other area that I attended, the other breakout session, was on juvenile complex cases work group, which talked about the issues with juvenile detentions and of course, with our youth detention center issue front and center for us. It was a really important area to learn about what other communities are doing. Talking about regionalization is very important, talking about the resources that the feds and the states have to help us as we move forward in our endeavor. But it's not just an issue for Berks County, it's an issue for probably the whole country, not just the Commonwealth, of course, but also the whole country. As Commissioner Rivera said, the closing session, Secretary of State Al Schmidt, who used to be a commissioner in Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia commissioners are a little bit different. They don't do all the things that we do. They just deal with elections specifically. So he had a lot of experience there, talked about what they're doing at the state level. Also, the state police commissioner was there to talk about some of the security issues that might be forthcoming as we head into this presidential election. And then the last part of that closing session dealt with the cooperation between local areas of government. And again, that's really important. We're all at different levels, but we work together. Sort of a good segue to what I had the opportunity to visit yesterday. Lynn and I had an opportunity to sit with Ann Norton from Election Services and meet her team and go through the process of what they do. It's an unbelievable, difficult task. They do a great job. And I went over to the SAM building and saw how they do the mail-in ballot process. It's pretty eye-opening and it's really interesting, and I enjoy that. I want to thank Ann publicly for her for taking us on that tour. I'm almost done. Library Excellence Awards occurred last night. Commissioner Leinbach and I were there, along with Kevin Barnhart, COO, and Larry Medallia, our deputy, learning about the great work that the libraries do in our community. They give out awards for community involvement for Library of the Year. I think it was Exeter Library that won that. That's sort of the best picture kind of thing for the Library Excellence Award. So they did a really nice job. Stephanie Williams, our administrator there, put that together. And I thought that was terrific. And it's great to be there. You're going to be hearing about this again, but I'm going to remind you of our next town hall. And the March town hall is March the 20th from 6:30 to 8. We're going to be at the Reading Public Library, so we encourage everyone to come and attend that. We've had 2 so far, and they've been well attended, and we look for input from our community as well. And my final issue that I'm going to talk about, March, as we recognize today, is Intellectual and Development Disability Awareness Month, and we want to thank Paul and Pam for their support and work there. But March is also another important month. It's Women's History Month, and we're going to be, and we are, recognizing the great things that women do for our community. Tomorrow, March the 8th, is International Women's Day, and their slogan is Inspire Inclusion. When we inspire others to understand and value women's inclusion, we forge a better world. So there's 3 guys sitting up here, I know that, but women inspire all of us, our wives, our daughters, and the great women that we work with, the great women in the community. I am, in the political world, I am represented where I live by 3 women. The state rep's a woman, my state senator is a woman, and my congressperson is a woman. In Berks County, along with Dr. Looney, the leaders of our universities and colleges in Berks County are all led by women. So I want to commend all the women in our lives for the great work that they do and inspire us. And we're inspired by the work that they do. And I want to not just recognize them for the month of March. There's a focus there. We should recognize all the great things that the women in our community and our lives do all year long. So I hope my wife watches this segment. So thank you very much.
You said it exactly as she told you to?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Santoni. A couple of things I want to, and I don't want to be repetitive, so I will not go into detail on some of the things my colleagues did. The CCAP conference is always a valuable experience. I also was in the complex case work group, but I want to focus on a different aspect. One of the things that CCAP does and does very, very well is they look at issues that are impacting counties and they put together work groups. In this case, the work group members are George Hartwick from Commissioner Dauphin County, Kevin Barnhart, Chief Operating Officer, Berks County, Bruce Erb, Commissioner Blair County, Pat Fabian, Commissioner Armstrong County, Gene Foshee, Commissioner Cumberland County, Shireen Hess, Commissioner Indiana County, Christine Sadler, Solicitor, Berks County, Pam Tokarikis, Commissioner Somerset County, Dan Vogler, Commissioner Lawrence County, Julie Wheeler, Commissioner York County, Pam Bell, Single County Authority Administrator, Delaware County, Jewel Denny, Assistant Deputy Director of Office of Behavioral Health, Allegheny County, John D. Madio, Director of Human Services, Erie County, Stacy Horvath, Human Services Administrator, Franklin County, Kate Lowry, Single County Authority, Beaver County, Marissa McClellan, Administrator, Dauphin County Social Services for Children and Youth, Crystal Natan, Executive Director, Lancaster County Children and Youth, Brandon Savachoka, Human Services Director, MHEIIDD Administrator, Butler County. Now, you may wonder why I did that. They provided a document that was finished in February on complex cases as it relates to children. And this is an enormous issue. The document not only looks at what is happening and why it's happening, it makes detailed recommendations. We have this document. We're looking at it right now. But there are a lot of reasons to be involved in an association. This is another one that we don't talk about that often, but the research and data, and as you can see, there are large counties, small counties, county commissioners, area experts within those county governments, all part of this work group. And if you have questions on how it works, I would suggest talking to Christine Sadler, our solicitor, or Kevin Barnhart, our COO. But that's important for folks, I think, to realize the work that is done. These are in no particular order. We referenced the local government forum that took place on Tuesday morning. We had representatives from heading up the statewide Sewer and Water Association, the head of the School Board Association, and the head of the Township Supervisors. There are two issues that are county priorities that they also said overwhelmingly they agree we need changes. That is on the right to know laws and also on prevailing wage reform. One of the takeaways from a presentation I listened to was from David Sunday. He is the district attorney in York, and he talked about a regional mental health facility that they have had in place for the last couple of years that has really helped what they do. I want to get more information on that. I also went in the solar group, grid or utility scale solar, just so you know what we're talking about. This has nothing to do with businesses putting solar on the roof, or homeowners putting solar for their home, or even farms putting up solar to operate their farm. These are 100 acres and greater, and they are solely designed to put power back on the grid. One of the things that stood out to me, I remember, because in 2008 when I took office, Marcellus Shale was just breaking. The Penn State team, and they have a lot of experience on the Marcellus Shale and Utica Shale, said they feel that the solar, the large grid or utility grid solar, is where Marcellus Shale was around 2008. And that's not a good thing. In other words, the construction of these are running ahead of the knowledge of local municipalities. And we're creating some problems. One of the bits of good news is the first thing the facilitator held up was a flyer from the Berks County Planning Commission. The Berks County Planning Commission late last year provided and researched a document for all of our municipalities, challenging them to look at a number of different areas as they consider large scale or utility scale solar in their communities. But it's a very, very good session. The last thing one other thing. Last night, Commissioner Santoni and I were at the Berks County Library Awards program. Great program. It was at the Ag Center. Excellent turnout. I think one of the reasons there was a good turnout, I didn't realize it till we got there, no one knew who the winners were. So anyone that was nominated in a category showed up, but it was really great to see the different individuals that were recognized. Early on, I leaned over to Dante and said, boy, most of the people being at that point, all of the people being recognized were older like me. And then all of a sudden, we had two back-to-back younger people that were recognized for their leadership relative to the community library. And again, Stephanie and her team did a great job. Just want to thank her for that. The last item, I've already mentioned that the governor was here last week visiting the Reading Area Community College. He was here for the purpose of promoting his blueprint for higher education. I want to make something very clear. What I'm about to say is not an attack on the governor. It's not an attack on the plan. It is a defense of the amazing community college that we have here in Reading. The Reading Area Community College does amazing work. The blueprint for higher education, and don't panic. I'm not going to go through every aspect, but there's three core things that I want to highlight. On the first page, the first two reasons why this new strategy is needed: as college grows more expensive and enrollment is dropping. That's not RAC. Reading Area Community College is the most affordable college option in this region. And it's not just affordable, it is a great education. If you talk to the staff, the teachers, the professors, they are proud of the work. And you talk to the students, they will tell you, many of them, that if it wasn't for RAC, they have no idea where they would be. But more importantly, RAC has over 40 articulation agreements with other higher eds, including PASHE schools like Kutztown University. What does that mean? Any school that has an articulation agreement with RAC is saying, we will take and accept all of the RAC credits and transferring to our school. That's one of the things was shared with us. Well, that's a problem. Many community colleges, that doesn't happen. I don't know what happens with other community colleges. I do know what happens at RAC. However, within the proposal, there are two enormous concerns. And I'm reading out of the blueprint. I'm not making this stuff up or trying to recall it from memory. There are two frequently asked questions that go to the heart of my concerns. The first, does the governor intend to merge Pennsylvania community colleges into the PASHE system or PASHE system? No. Okay, that sounds good. The community colleges will not be merged into PASHE. But listen, rather, the intent is to create an entirely new public post-secondary system with a new governance structure, and the community colleges and the PASHE universities will be equal partners in the system. PASHE will not take over the community colleges, nor are mergers included in the blueprint. Each institution plays an important role in serving the needs of our diverse student population and the state's economy. There's a funny thing about this definition of merger. Most often, when you hear that there is a merger occurring, it's not a merger, it's a takeover. I don't care what it is. In the private sector, the businesses say that because they don't want either business to get upset. So it's a merger, but it's not a merger. It's a takeover. One company bought out the other company. In this case, this is a merger. They're creating a new system where neither the community colleges nor PASHE will be in charge. They will be merged, they won't use the word merger, into a new system with a unique governance setup. Community colleges are not traditional higher eds. Great example in Kutztown University, and my daughter graduated from Kutztown, so I'm not being critical of Kutztown University. Kutztown University largely has dorm students. Their demographic on the Latino population of their students is 3.4%. RAC has no dorms. They're not a school where people are coming in from all over. They're coming from the community. Their Latino population is 43%. That's just one simple way to understand, no, there's not a problem with Kutztown University. Kutztown is not reflective of its community because it is not a community college. It is drawing students from all over and well beyond Pennsylvania, which is why there are special rates for Pennsylvania students versus non-Pennsylvania students. This is a merger. Everything that we look at is a merger, and I think that's an enormous problem. We need our community colleges as they are community colleges. The second point, and the last point that I'm going to make, has to do with the governance. Now, you caught up here that it makes it very clear that there is a new governance structure in that question. Here's the other FAQ. Community colleges are currently overseen by local governing boards appointed by the local sponsor, either a city, a county, or a set of school districts. Will the creation of a new system require local boards to be dissolved altogether? That word bothers me already, because it makes it crystal clear there's going to be a fundamental change to the local governance structure. And it throws the word in there altogether, giving us the idea that there'll be some kind of role. Here's the answer. Again, like the prior one, no. But then the details. Governor Shapiro has stated explicitly that his goal is to retain an element of local governance. Big problem, same idea, very small. Exactly how local governance will function under a new system is yet to be determined. The governor will receive recommendations from the community college and PASHE presidents, as well as other vested partners, to strike the right balance of authority and control at the local and system level. We know from systems in other states the community college local governance can function effectively when duties, authority, and responsibility are clearly delineated and complementary to that of the system governing authority. I do want to acknowledge one thing with Governor Shapiro. I was able to talk with Governor Shapiro during the tour, and to his credit, during his press conference, and Commissioner Rivera and I were at the press conference, but not standing with the governor. We were sitting in the front. The governor acknowledged our two major concerns of the merger and the governance. I bring it up here because I believe the proposal as it currently stands will be severely detrimental, not just to the school, but to the students that we serve. Because at the end of the day, the only reason to have a community college and community leadership is to serve the unique needs, just the things, Terry, that you shared this morning. The ability to respond to local businesses. She didn't get into this, but many of those businesses pay on a regular basis to send their employees to this program to get additional training, or in some cases to retrain them to better prepare them for where that particular manufacturer is going. This community college needs to be preserved. And with what is proposed right now, I believe it puts the future of Reading Area Community College at risk. I've been in discussions with multiple members of the Board of Trustees. To a person, everyone that has spoken to me has the exact same concerns. We are in the process following up on an invitation from the governor's office. Anthony Luker spoke to both of us at the press conference and said that he will set up a meeting with the governor and ourselves. All three commissioners will be invited, and members of the Board of Trustees. We are working on that. And again, I want to highlight, I appreciate that the governor is willing to listen. I've been around politicians that pretty much make their mind up and full speed ahead. I welcome the opportunity to make it very, very clear that this proposal is not good for the Reading Area Community College. That's all that I have. We'll open up for any comments from our row officers.
I do not have anything to add at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to, I know this has been a long meeting. I'll try to be brief. Dr. Looney, Ms. Melcher, thank you very much for what you do. I just wanted to say that as the father of six, we've got a Lycoming grad. We have a United States Air Force an airman who went on and got his degree. My daughters went to Susquehanna. My second youngest son went to RAC, transferred after 2 years to Albright. He got his degree from Albright. He is, as we're speaking now, he is headed to Texas to take his first job. And so him and his brother are moving down there. And I've got my youngest son is at Fleetwood, interested in aviation. I'd love to see if RAC can put together an aviation program. We've got new things happening with the county and the airport. And so I'd love this. I think he'd love that opportunity to stay local, get his education and get his certification in aviation. So thank you again for everything you do, you both do. And I look forward to watching RAC continue to grow and be a very important part of our community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's no public comment online. Any public comment in person? Okay. That brings us to the end of our meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
The meeting stands adjourned.